Look, I have this very strong desire to be first. And this person next to me is going to become a very famous and prominent figure in the podcasting community here in Cape Town. So that's why I had to have a first. All these other podcasts, they're after me.
After you.
So, man,
I feel so honored being here.
thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
honored.
After how many years?
After how many years? I don't even know how many years.
Like 3.
Eons.
3 of like heavy convincing.
3 years of heavy convincing, but I feel like I've known you my whole life.
You can.
Wait. I need to make sure there's no branding on my mug before
Yeah.
I clink you. Pure white, no merch yet. What was that, bro? You're like, okay, she's not married. You can put your proposals in.
Not yet. I need to heal myself first.
Hectic. Do you want to start there? Diary of a CEO. How are you healing?
I think I'm just like the villain era is like it's next level, but not like villain era in the sense where you like are a total douchebag to people. It's like standing on business. I have my boundaries, not taking any nonsense. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like, and you're not gonna convince me otherwise. That's my villain era.
Okay.
Stand on business, guys.
That's the first question done. What is a villain era?
I think it varies.
Wait. Before we get any further,
Yeah.
please introduce yourself.
Oh, I didn't even know in what capacity I'm introducing myself. So, hi, I'm Noor Isaacs. Saeed's my biggest fan.
I am. I'm madly in love with this woman. She's crazy.
Thank you. And it has fueled my confidence over the years. So I think I'm just Noor Isaacs. You know, for short, I'm just Noor. Just nothing special yet.
How dare you? You just like that. Just like downplayed all the hype I give you.
Yet humble.
Okay. Humble pie.
Humble pie. When you're in the right room, then you bring the confidence out. You must know who I am. You pull the curtain. Do you know who you are talking to?
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's quite hot in this room.
It is, but in order for sound to be sounding, we have to sound and be of sound condition. Noor,
hi.
Now that you've introduced yourself, I feel like you've switched on to like your I need to perform in front of a camera.
Oh, you want me to be unfolded? Oh my gosh, I'll get cancelled. Actually, I won't get cancelled. I'm not cancelable.
Yeah, we'll say that. I feel like
fight me.
No, you know what? I feel like your thoughts have. I don't think matured is the word, but I think mellowed is also the word. Like I feel like you've become more mellow in the way that you like present yourself and your thoughts and your ideology is an ideologist. Ideologist.
Sorry. My brains are braining.
What was that word that you were having a difficulty pronouncing?
Admirable. Am I saying it correctly? Admirable.
That's how I say it. Like admirable.
But you don't say your R's like. Okay, it's getting there.
I don't know my R's. See R's
anymore.
But I say H though.
H
is a letter.
So I finished my coffee and I'm in the spirit. So I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit nervous for this, but like cool nervous because I've never done this before. But I know that it has the potential to like be something pretty cool.
Definitely.
Hence, the cool guy next to me.
Mildly.
Yeah, because usually I'm like on the other side of things. I'm usually the one asking the questions. This time around, I'm being asked the questions. I'm like, okay.
But this is pretty chill. You get to like drill into people.
Yeah, I get paid to like be a Karen. Sometimes. But I also get paid to like geek out and like make people feel awesome.
And spread joy across the world. Well, Cape Town counts as the world for now.
Yeah. It's my oyster. Even though I don't eat oysters, but like
You don't eat oysters. Let's get into that. Why don't you eat oysters?
Texture, man. You know, like with certain
Oh
things,
yeah,
it's not necessarily the
texture.
taste, it's just the texture.
100%. I agree with that. Like I like rusks.
I like rusks too.
I like crunchy texture. I feel like, even when people make
Yes.
peppermint tarts and stuff and they crumble the crumbs at the bottom, beautiful
Love
stuff.
it. Yeah. I don't like mushy stuff. I don't like jelly textures. But like it just doesn't sit well on the palate.
How do you feel about watermelon's texture?
I love watermelon. But it must be like a cold watermelon, not like watermelon was in the sun for too long and then it's like pop and
How do you feel about papery apples? You know those
No. We call it meelerige apples.
Say it again.
Meelerige apples. Can you say that?
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna attempt.
Basically,
It's like saying Klabecha.
like meelerige apples. It's like, you know, when you bite into it and like it's not even juicy, it tastes like you're eating sand.
Sand apple. It is sand apple.
Yeah. Like not bad.
Well, enough of the fluff. Let's get into the deep chat.
Let's go.
The reason why I brought you here today, because you're so inspiring, at least to me, as an entity.
Thank you.
I want to know, glow in it for a bit. I want to know your missions for the future. Because we had this chat yesterday about like feeling stuck. And I feel a lot of people can actually, like, now words are just leaving my brain. A lot of people can actually relate to that. And especially with the way life has been after COVID, I would say that all the dreams perhaps that people may have had, seeing it just being shut down so quickly in front of them, now having to rebuild that motivation in them. What do you see now as somewhat the intermediary motivation for you?
Well, it's a tough question. But like if I could build on that, I think I'm like more like in the reverse of that. It's more like, you know, when you're stuck in most people say you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. For me, I'm more stuck between having patience and seeing the thing, you know, that I poured into become what it's meant to be. And I need to do more work because everyone's work is different. Some people you'll see results immediately, great for you, but not in every profession and not in everything that you do. So for me, mine's more long term. So I won't see the results immediately. And sometimes it makes you feel like you're not doing enough because you can't see the results immediately. And I think that's the test of patience where it comes in. Like because you feel like you are not doing a good enough job because the results aren't pouring in. Because when you see the results pouring in, that's your litmus test. Okay, it's actually working, but I don't know if it's actually working yet. I might not even be alive to see the trees, bearing fruit of what I planted. I hope they do bear fruit, but that's like the rough patch that I'm in at the moment. It's like, do you push yourself more, potentially burn out, or do you just continue on the pace and just hope that your intention is sincere, you are pouring into people, you're pouring into your community, it will bear fruit. It may not be in the way you want it to be, but you are going to impact someone one way or another. So that's like it's just like it's frustrating because I want it now.
What is the impact you want? What do you like? You say you want it now. What do you want now because of you? What do you want your effect to be on the world?
For people to be better.
What does better mean to you?
Kind of less self-centered. Everything, like we live in this time where everything is like just me, myself, and I. And if it doesn't affect me, why should I care? And I'm big on having empathy. I'm a big empath, so it doesn't make sense to me that you can't empathize. Or even if you can't empathize, why can't you sympathize? It's like people don't care. And for me, when people don't care, other people will suffer. We don't have to all suffer. It's like we can help each other. So that's like what I mean by better. I want to see more people helping each other, more people being human, not just the superficial facade that you're selling to your social media or to your circles, being fake for 8 hours and then, you go home and then you're depressed or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people put on a facade every day. Thankfully for me, I am incapable of putting on a facade.
This is why I stand you heavy, because I feel like
I
there
can't.
is like there's very little filter between what you think and how you think and how you express yourself outwardly. I don't think you have the ability to like make a very intricate mask.
No, I will. You. It's so bad, but like in the good way.
Yeah, in a good way, definitely, 100%.
It's like even if I wanted to lie, it's not gonna work. It's like it will just show. So that's why I just don't lie.
Mm.
And sometimes it sucks because like you want to maybe like mellow your responses down, but like it doesn't work.
Maybe not. I feel like
It's funny to some people because like they get memes out of it. For me, it's just like, damn,
I
do I
do get
really
a
look
lot of
like that?
memes.
Ooh, tata kaya. Not for real. But yeah, it's
I mean, for
So
your
that-
eulogy, what do you think they should write on it?
for my eulogy.
It is the janaza notice of.
Actually, I had this conversation with someone. I asked them would they read my janaza notice out.
Hectic.
Yeah, would they read my janaza? Don't fear death, guys.
No, I mean, why would you
Don't fear
ask
death.
them that? Like, what was the intention behind it?
It's actually very out of context. But I had a food coma.
A food coma. Oh, yeah, let's get into the food coma
like
chat. How
like
did that
I
happen?
was I got invited to this restaurant and we had to review the food and the food was fantastic and I was extremely full and I felt like I could die a happy death at that exact
Wait, before you
moment.
continue, you see how well like media trained you are. Didn't mention any brand name. You just went into the story very abstractly. Okay, continue.
And then I said, I could die such a happy death right now. And they were like, so and so, would you read like my janaza notice? For those who don't know what a janaza notice is, would you read my funeral announcement? The announcement that I have just died. Yeah, okay. And then they did. It was an absolute joke. It was an absolute joke. Apparently, I'll be buried in Sea Point to upset the Zionists.
Hectic.
And
By the time you die, I feel like this
by the
sort of
sun will be
all.
free.
Yeah, I'm saying it's gonna be all blown over.
By the sun will be free. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be introduced as my full name. I would. They said it would be the janaza notice of Nurinisa Isaacs, also known as Baby Girl.
Baby girl.
Also known as Baby Girl. Cause of death, a calamari strip. Because she wanted to join him. Literally, I have the video on my phone.
Under the sea.
And the time of the janaza will be before Maghrib, and she will be buried in Sea Point.
Well, buried on site of the dead.
I'm telling you, it's like just save time. Dig the hole right there. Finish. Put a statue there one time. Okay, haram. Put statues there. Right, like.
You see, you can't hide it. The ego grows. We have we have cultivated this ego.
my head actually did grow bigger. My forehead went from like 3 to a 4 finger forehead because of all of the
crazy work. Now there's like a bigger antenna to receive all the knowledge.
For those who watch One Piece, right?
Yeah.
I love One Piece. Okay. So if you are caught up with One Piece and you're
don't you want to move back a bit? I feel like you're like on top of it slightly.
Sorry. Lean back. Sorry.
Because then it will look like you're physically bigger than me as well. Like, oh, she's bigger and also big head. No, but just so that they don't.
He is taller than me. It's just he's slouching at the moment.
Yeah, in order to remain in frame, I feel.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So if you watch One Piece, if you are caught up and you are egged, there is a certain character there. Big brain energy. There's a certain character there that his brain just grows too big because he has the brain fruit, so he actually has like an apple antenna on his head to help him receive information faster. Guess who the character is?
Comments below. Comments below. Who's that character?
It's just
It's like, who's that Pokemon? You remember that?
I actually never watched Pokemon.
This is the youth. This is the problem with the youth. The youth, they are missing out.
We're losing recipes.
You're losing recipes.
Losing recipes.
Did you ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, but like I only got into like the whole anime thing.
What
like,
did you feel about it before?
I used to watch anime like Dragon Ball Z, where it used to come on SABC 2,
Mhm.
5 o'clock after school. Roads are quiet. Used to watch it with my uncles. Never understood what the hell was going on. But I just knew that they were gonna shout from one day over the period of another days until they
Beautiful.
fight, you know?
Most beautiful experience ever.
On the previous episode of Dragon Ball Z, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, shouting me, and I'm like, fangirling, but they still didn't fight. But like, it was vibes. It was liquor. It was cool. COVID came. That's when I got into anime. Deep dived into the wrong anime first, but anyway.
Tell us about that experience.
So the first anime I ever watched was actually Attack on Titan.
Wow.
The
best one to start on.
I was going deep in, and like the first thing I remember was like, why were they eating each other?
We know why they were eating each other.
I didn't know at the time. But let me tell you, it laid the foundation of me having impeccable taste in anime.
Yeah, it definitely is a good foundation.
Very good, but not for sensitive people.
Not for sensitive. Anime in general is not for sensitive people.
Yeah.
Anime is like the fallout of World War II trauma and all of that stuff, and the whole of Japan was traumatized. Therefore, they just had to like cope through a mass experiment, which was anime.
And look how much it contributes to the economy now.
Yeah, definitely. This is the power of utilizing your trauma.
So if you yield too much, apparently you're not going to be funny anymore. I disagree. There was an eerie silence there.
That is a very interesting statement. I want you to go deeper into it, but I have some thoughts on it.
Okay, what's your thoughts first?
Yes, I feel like trauma is a great recipe for creating humor, for creating perspective, mainly because most things that we do, like music, comedy, it's like orientating mechanisms. We do this as beings because when we are knocked off equilibrium, we create or discover coping mechanisms to find ways to like go back to equilibrium. So like, when you go through heartbreak, then a lot of people either listen to heartbreak songs or they create heartbreak songs because it's like a form of getting back to equilibrium. Same with humor. It's like you go through trauma and you create jokes around it. You create your own form of like philosophizing why this thing occurred to you, and then it helps you get back to a form of like stability and equilibrium. So in that sense, I do agree that in some way trauma does make you funny. But beyond that, when you have like become so zen that a lot of the stuff that makes people sensitive to certain elements of humor, once you've like transcended that sensitivity, you can then come back again and view everything kind of as like a cosmic joke and be like, oh, that's funny, or that has its merits, it has its entertainment value, or this is funny because of this.
I actually think that the zen part, that comes with healing.
Yeah, that comes with
healing. Does come with healing, because also most people who are not healed can't take a joke. They can't take a joke because they're still sensitive. The wound is still quite raw. So, for example, if I joke about my dad, I have an amazing relationship with my dad, but everyone doesn't have an amazing relationship with their dad. So, for example, I joke about the things that I do with my dad, like the sarcastic, the character development between me and my father is both painful and insightful. Yeah. So if I maybe joke about the relationship I have with my dad, someone will be like, but not everyone has a good relationship with their dad. Firstly, that's not my problem. Sorry. But also, that's just your trauma response, because you don't have that. So now you are projecting it onto me. So it's like
Mm.
you can't expect someone like that to find jokes about trauma funny. But someone who has come to terms with a trauma, because just remember, all trauma is not meant to be healed completely. Trauma will be there. You just, okay, this might sound controversial. You don't actually fully heal from your trauma. You've just accepted that certain things has happened to you and you can't change the past. And you learn how to deal with that as an adult. The effects, of course, will have um, influence on your decisions that you make as an adult, but you're never truly going to heal from your trauma because it just takes one thing to like flick that scab open and you could be bleeding all over again. Um, but it's just about learning how to cope with your trauma. So for those people who reach Zen, they've learned how to cope with the trauma. They've learned to accept what was out of their control. So now they can view things from a different perspective. And I think they'll also make better dark humor jokes. Because it's like you're seeing it from an aerial view. It's like, haha. It's like vibes. It's gonna be great. But not always great because, some people always has a problem with what you have to say because violence is apparently words nowadays.
What problems do people have with the things that you say? Oh, what have you said has caused problems?
In what sense?
In sense of how people react to you. I mean, it's not necessarily your intention, but I'm saying like,
Oh, they get very sensitive. Look, I'm a very sensitive person too. I cry very quickly too. But like, facts don't care about your feelings. Like, if I'm wrong and I know I'm sensitive and I'm gonna cry, I'll have to cry, get over myself, and then continue. But I've had people try to play victim, try to spin my words on me, and like that's when the sassiness came out. And I'll be like, not today. We're not gonna flip the script on you like that. This is actually what happened. And ironically, every single person that has gone through that, they actually became more confident.
because of what you did.
Yeah. It's like it's not like bullying behavior. Or maybe no, it's not bullying behavior. Or is it bullying behavior?
Professional bully!
I'm a professional disappointment though, but like yeah. So
Who are you disappointing?
huh?
Who are you disappointing?
People who have too much expectations of me
What do they expect of you?
to do their work.
Shots fired.
Not gonna happen. But like yeah, like those engagements or the things that I've said, like I realized that they are very, very sensitive people. Like recently, I dealt with someone who I didn't know comes from a household where one of the parents were like very narcissistic
Okay.
or very narcissistic, and anything that came from this particular parent was viewed as like criticism, judgment,
Wow.
all the
Okay.
bad things, right? It unfortunately was the person's mom, which was quite sad. So
Painful.
this person internalizes any female giving feedback as narcissistic, like you projecting narcissism, and I couldn't wrap my head around it because I'm like, how is it that I'm trying to help you, but you're internalizing that as criticism.
Yeah.
Like I actually don't want to see you fail, but you are
Mm.
internalizing it in a way that I am attacking you. I am until it got to the point where we had to have like a face to face. And I actually listened to the person, not heard. I listened to the person, and I put the pieces together. And that's when I had to like be blunt, because there's a time and place to be blunt. As blunt as I am, it's not all the time that you have to be blunt. Time and place very important, and that literally changed the person's perspective. When I needed to make this person understand that I'm not out to see you fail. I'm actually here looking out for your best interest, but you are self-sabotaging. If you are self-sabotaging, you can't blame the person throwing you the life jacket that you were the reason I'm drowning. It don't work like that. So it just shows what trauma does to people. Help can be internalized as bad things, or wanting to help could also be internalized as undermining the person, and that just shows it. There's trauma. They haven't learned. They haven't reached the zen that you said. Yeah, they haven't reached the zen. Yeah, my forehead looks very big from here.
No, it's the right size. What do you mean? This is what I call a nice foil.
You put sticky notes there.
You can, you can. I've definitely done it before.
Really?
This girl.
I'm sorry. It's been a day. It's been a day, guys.
Nah, I was trying to see if you would fall into that trap, but anyway.
I sometimes don't do well with identifying sarcasm.
No, man.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
You personally, Nuru, why are you laughing? I was just starting the question.
Okay, sorry.
You personally, Nuru, you've started this adventure in media.
Mm-hmm.
You are now quite integrated into this life of media creation. I mean, you haven't been in charge per se of the final product of the media that you create, but having reached the stage now, where do you think this can go?
I actually don't know how to answer that question because I would like to give, like the fairy tale answer that things could just like kick off and it could become amazing and stuff, but I don't know that for sure.
Give the fairy tale answer. Actually, I think I think what happens sometimes is we police the answer in our heads because of like realism. But
yeah, I I just wanted to be a positive influence on people. Positive influence meaning it's not like overly happy content because the reality is that everyone is not happy all the time. Like sometimes you just wake up in a foul mood. It's not like you're just gonna like wake up and be like, oh, the birds are chirping, the sun is shining, and it's gonna feel like a Disney movie. Sometimes I actually just don't want to get out of bed. I want to stay in my bed. I don't want to go to work. I want to be a potato and lay in my bed.
That might actually be your ultimate dream.
But
to be a potato.
But yeah, like coming back to like the fairy tale answer, I want what I'm doing to have a positive influence on people, whether it be locally, internationally, nationally, wherever. And I want it to make people, I want it to prompt people to rewire the way they think. Because everyone believes that the way they think is correct. I was one of those people, and I had to unlearn certain perspectives in order for me to see things for what they really are. I'm not woke. I'm not woke. I'm not talking about that. But like, it's a different type of awareness because when you become that aware, it does have its cons because now you're actually seeing things for what they really are, and it's not always pretty. And that's actually real life. The real life isn't pretty. It's not the social media pictures, the Pinterest boards, even though it would be weird in our eyes. But it's like allowing people allowing people to actually think for themselves. Because too many people they don't realize this, but they're enslaved to the way someone told them to think.
Enslaved to the way someone told them to think.
It's true though.
That is true. No, you're definitely spitting bars there.
Like some people may counter and say, but you're Muslim, you believe in God and the Quran. Yeah, but I've accepted the fact that I'm a slave to my religion. I'm not fighting, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it. Me being a slave to my religion allows me to think this way, allows me to see things in a manner where something socially constructed is not, puppeteering my brain. And it may sound crazy to people in the beginning, but critical thinking is something not everyone is born with. It's something that's created, it's something that's conditioned. So if you want to think better, if you want to view the world in a different way, you are going to have to deprogram your mind. Because remember, we get sent to school. In the South African context, you go to your government school, primary school, sorry. I burped.
We're going to make it really loud on the edit.
Like, wow. But then zoom in like on you, like, wow. Anyway. So like, yeah, you go to like your primary school, you go to your high school, and they condition you in a certain way. They don't condition you to think outside of the box, right? They condition you to think within confinements, right? And it's also why they set the bar so low. It's like they already conditioning you that it's okay to aim low. It's not okay to aim low. And also the system, the way that the structure in which they tell you need to go to school and you need to go to university, then you need to get your internship and you need to get a job. That doesn't always work. And the easiest way for you to deprogram your mind is to take like a gap year and go work. You'll see how quickly that bubble that you were put into your for like 12 years, 12 plus years of your life, just gets popped and you realize everything you were taught was a lie. And it allows you to make.
Do you feel everything you were taught was a lie?
Not everything, most things. Most things was different.
What was the biggest lie for you?
That we are free.
What was the second biggest lie?
Everybody loves each other.
What was the third biggest lie?
Third biggest lie? I'll never break your heart. Lies. Anyway.
I think everyone will break your heart, to be honest, to some
You'll
extent.
break your own heart.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's the OG one.
You'll break your own heart.
Seeing as you've opened up this can of worms, like when it comes to interpersonal relationships and trying to build, let's say, a future with a person, like what are some of the green flags and the red flags that always stick out in your mind? And what are some of the ones that you've learned in recent times?
Okay, start with the ones that I've learned.
Okay.
Someone can very easily pretend that they are smart and they are stupid. That like, yeah. Anyone
that was
can
just a shot. Like
anyone, most
you need actionable.
people can fake looking smart.
Yeah.
People can fake sounding smart until you actually engage with them, right? And then you realize that the way you think is actually not that great. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is that no matter how pretty or handsome the face is, if your ideology is fine, if your ideology is down in the gutters, you will become unattractive. Because we were speaking about the attraction thing. Like, it's nice to be physically attracted to someone. But there are going to be days when you're not going to find the person physically attractive. Like, ladies go through, their menstrual cycle, you have all of your phases, whatever. Sometimes you're going to think this thing is so cute. Sometimes you're going to think, oh, gross. And then sometimes you're going to be like, oh. Like, it's never constant. But the way the person thinks. My zoom in on the spot. So, the lessons I've learned, don't always chase the pretty face. Find out how the person thinks.
That's a big one.
Find out how the person thinks. Because the way that person thinks is going to determine how they're going to treat you, what their priorities are, what they will potentially pour into your relationship, what they are potentially going to pour into their future children or your future children. And if it's not the thinking that the ideology or the mindset that you want, run away. Run away. As fast as you can. Put your Crocs in spoons if you have to. Run away. But green flags.
Green flag, let's go.
Green flags. It is a criteria or something like.
No, you the criterion. You are the criterion.
I'm a criterion. Green flags. Okay, I think this might be a bit of a controversial one. So as Muslims, we are taught that you must always look for someone that's on deen, which is 100%. But not everyone on deen is compatible with you.
That's true.
Someone may have amazing spirituality, but they may not be compatible with your temperament, with your personality type. So just keep that in mind. So green flags, yes, needs to be on deen, be able to lead you in prayer, lead you religiously, guide you. But I also think overall leadership. Do you have the ability to lead me as a woman? Not saying it, I'm just going to like allow you to make dumb decisions, but like, can I trust your judgment? Can you prove that your judgment is trustworthy to me? And will that judgment ensure my safety? If that judgment doesn't ensure my safety, then I have no reason being with you, right? Um, Also, I think it's being kind. And the reason why I say kindness is because people might not understand this. Not everyone has the ability to be kind. Because in order to be kind, you need to be sincere. Most people don't know what it's like to be sincere because everyone is out with an agenda, or they have these certain, biases, or these certain goals that they need to reach. So in order to be kind, a lot of factors need to be ticked. So are you sincere? Because you can't have an insincere kind person. It doesn't make sense, right?
Mm.
It doesn't make sense. Does a kind person have humility? Does the kind person have humanity? Meaning human to human, if I see you in trouble, I'm gonna be like, oh, shame. Or what's that Netflix series, Queen Charlotte, where they goes, prayers, sorrows. Are you gonna do that? Or you actually like console your friend properly? You know what I mean?
Yes,
So,
sorrows.
so like being kind,
Mm.
and being kind, like I said, there's like underlying factors. Um. Also, do you have a beard?
I was waiting for that. I thought that would be the first one on the list, to be honest.
No, I've matured. I've matured a lot. But facial hair is very important. I can't have more hair on my face than a guy.
And you're working hard on it.
I'm,
I'm teasing.
my challenge happened here. What other green flags are there? Oh, whoa,
Whoa.
whoa. How do you treat your parents?
That's a deep one, definitely.
The last person I was with the first day, you're gonna be hearing this for the first time too. But you know who the said person is. The first time I met this said person, he badmouthed his mom.
Mm.
And my mom said, we don't do that here.
Mm.
And said person didn't know how to respond.
Mm.
Because either that's your trauma response, or that's just you just not giving your parents the honor that they deserve, regardless of what they did to you or how they hurt you.
Mm.
Free advice, won't charge you for this. Forgive your parents for things that they did to you.
Mm.
Just forgive them. You are literally dragging yourself behind by choosing not to forgive your parents. It was their first time.
Mm.
When you become a parent, you would want your child to forgive you too if you messed up. So it's how to treat their parents.
Mm.
Do you go out of your way for your parents? I'm not saying you need to, be inconsiderate to other people to accommodate your parents all the time. You know what scenario I'm talking about? Like, for example, you're married and like the husband always chooses the mother over the wife's ideas or whatever. That type of dynamic, or the I'm scared. I'm scared for this one personally because I have a very good relationship with my dad. Is if my dad says something and my future husband says something, who am I gonna listen to? Let's sit in the car, go to the car. Hi, bro. I don't know what they'll do, eh? I don't know what they'll do. But yeah. It's the parents not interfering, that part. So we hopefully Allah protects us from that. But definitely how they treat their parents, because I've seen that there is a growing, it's becoming more popular to undermine the authority of your parents. And your parents were also your age once upon a time. The game didn't change much. The game actually got weaker because you got a phone and internet. Because you can fake it easier. But back then, you needed to walk, I don't know how many kilometers, cycle, I don't know how many kilometers, and said, I like your granddaughter, or I like your daughter, can I come into the house? And if they said no, you would take the rejection like a man. Now, if you reject the guy or whatever, they want to badmouth you, call all these ugly names. Like, firstly, I'm out of your league, but like.
Who are these people, Noor? Name and shame.
Name
Who's
and
been bad mouthing you on the
No,
internet?
you know the worst experience I ever had, and I didn't realize it was gonna take such a toll on me, is when someone told me I should use my brain more because I did not want to
Engage.
engage further because they were just that demanding.
Hmm.
And sorry, this is where the cockiness is gonna come out now. And I was thinking to myself, you don't know who I am.
You don't
I'll
know me.
crush you, my boy. I'll crush you. Tantalizingly crush you. Because it will taste nice. That's the toxic side of the villain era, I guess. But yeah, like that comment like really like hurt me. Because I pride myself in someone that can think. And then someone who is not as smart as me has the audacity to tell me I need to use my brain. Like, huh? I was hurt. Actually, I was hurt. I felt insulted. I think insulted was like, and I was like, yo, is this how you take rejection? Like, for example, if I maybe shoot my shot, which is rare,
How's that been working out for you?
I don't do that anymore. Because, like I said in the beginning, they look nice. Like having a crush, like I said, is a lack of information.
Having a crush is a lack of information. I like it.
Yeah, that was a lack of
That's
information. Looked very nice. Ew. Then they can't spell. They can't spell.
That's a painful one. I won't lie. The can't spell one is crazy.
When am I going to see you, Hybo?
You need the two U's. Yo, this is my secret. Always add the second U to the first U. Then I'm gonna see you. West side.
And what shape does it make?
It makes a butterfly.
Fly away.
And I'm gonna see you. It's been a long day
without you, my friend. But I'll tell you all about it in this podcast. Let's go.
That's how I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start it with you singing.
But yeah, red flags. Yo.
Red flags. What was like?
Woo.
Let me frame it as the X that like was like, okay, it's done.
Oh, it's done.
Yeah, let's list it like that.
When they bite their nails.
Yeah.
Don't. Like, like
lucky I keep my nails short.
Like,
so I
like
don't
when
end up
it's
doing
like
that.
when it's like in, like you know what I mean? Like, you know what type of hands I'm talking about? Like when they bite it like really badly and like it's.
No, how do they do that? Did someone actually do that in front of you?
No. I've seen it and I was like, absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can Google a picture.
I don't want to see that.
No, you have to see it.
No,
Yes,
I don't need to see
Yes,
that.
he
That's
does.
trauma.
Yes, he does. So
Think
yeah.
about other stuff,
Okay,
please.
okay, so when they bite their nails,
Don't bite your nails.
also if there's any guys going to watch this, which I'm pretty sure there are,
This is pretty much my audience.
right? Pro tip. I'm not the pro, but like this is a pro tip. I've done the surveys, I've spoken to the women, they all agree with me. Women will look at your hands. And if your hands does not look nice, your chances of landing a date or even talking to that girl will depend on how your hands also looks.
How are people keeping their hands? I want to know what's like the most horrible hands you've seen. What does horrible hands look like?
The biting nails. And when there's dirt under the nails.
Yeah, that's wild. Guys, please just keep your nails short.
Yeah. No, don't even eat. Look, my nails grow pretty quickly. But I mean, like, even if it means you keep like a nail file in there, so maybe something does go under your nail, then just like clean it up. You're all gonna go to the bathroom to wash your hands and just like keep it clean and moisturized.
Okay, I'm really bad with moisturization.
It's just long as it doesn't look like Sahara Desert, then it's fine. But you have fine. You have decent hands. Jungle hands. Strong.
Weathered in, but I feel like my hands are so stumpy. Like I try to learn piano properly, but like it's like not long enough. You need to like have those bony fingers.
Yeah.
What else? What else is a good
An ick. We still talking about icks or what?
yeah, like the ick that was a no for you or like red flags. Like
If he expects you to go 50-50.
let's go 50-50. Why not? That's like a modern world now. I can fight with this
My
one. I can fight
dad
with this.
said a man is not supposed to know what your bank card looks like.
Guys,
That's what my dad told me.
that's hilarious though. He's setting you up for failure. I'm sorry.
It's
Fine. Follow
different.
him. Don't follow. Don't follow us.
Look, I really wish that there was like still like this like old school chivalry, right? I'm not saying that the girl needs to like be ridiculous, in what she's ordering, whatever. Like, don't be that person, right? If you're going to a restaurant, don't order something more expensive than the guy or something like that. Like, do the basic decent thing. If his thing is say 200, make yours 180. Don't be that girl. You look like you're niks gewoond nie. Like you're not used to going out.
So what?
Yeah, say that niks gewoond nie.
I'm not gonna say it.
Afrikaans. Yeah, don't be that person. Like it's like my mom always said, like if you go out always and someone else is paying for you, make sure that your food is always cheaper than the person's food that is paying.
That too. That's true.
But I don't like the 50-50 thing. It's different if she is or if I'm offering, like saying, you know what, I actually want to pay for you. Which is a thing.
It happens.
It does happen.
To me a lot.
Good for you. Sheesh. The tips to the guys there.
They have a great personality. That is the first step. And I think, you know what? Sometimes value is non monetarily like created. A lot of the connections I have with people is based on like how I've been involved in their lives, perhaps I could say like that. Like I'm not even talking about like relationship. I'm talking about just like normal friendship and engagement with people. Like you want to be of value, and I've gotten to the stage where I'm even like scared to say specific words because value, it's also almost like a pandering word. It's like I'm trying to pander to this person. I think it's more about like building yourself up eternally, that whenever you're in someone's space, you just being there is of value to them. Like I think I'm really
I can vouch for that. Actually. Like without the sarcasm and stuff, like the days like when you like hype me up and stuff, like even when it look like I'm busy dying or whatever, like it really does help. Like with the confidence, with the perspectives, with also the self-worth, because now you realize someone actually wants to see you do better. Genuinely wants to see you do better, and like it like flicks the switch in your brain. Like, you know what, nah, let me not disappoint this person. This person's trying so hard to make me feel better. Let me just
it's not about me, and I think that's the real secret too. Like this is something I learned, and it starts in a very like it could start off in a very manipulative way, in a sense of like try and abstract yourself from needing anything from anyone. And I also hesitate to say that because I'm also like learning how to like engage with people and accept help, and like it's really about mizan and balance and like knowing how to like just exist and be in the moment.
Yeah.
It becomes like really a wider like chat. But I guess if you feel like, because you know what, I watch a lot of these videos on YouTube about
you absorb
I absorb yeah. I watch everything on YouTube. Like, look, I watch the dark stuff, I watch the light stuff, I watch like everything in between to kind of get like a perspective, because I have this like need to like perspectivize the world. But when it comes to even like, I watch these videos like, oh, I'm 35 years old and I have no friends, or like I've never had a friend in my life. Those videos, like I watch those videos and I sit with it and I cry with them too. Like I try and empathize and get where they're coming from. And a lot of the things that you like end up like internalizing, because when you internalize those kind of things, it's not necessarily to reprogram yourself, but it's to see the difference between you and where that person, and what led you to be where you are and what led that person to be where they are. And a lot of times it's like one of the two things: either people have stopped creating external value around themselves in terms of like making themselves seem like valuable to other people, or they are very valuable but they just have no way of expressing it in healthy ways. Like some people can be, because look, I know a lot
That's
of people.
a good one, in a healthy way. I like that you mentioned like healthy way.
Yeah, because people in I know a lot of people in the tech industry who what's the name, are great at what they do. They're like wizard, you know. And sometimes a lot of that comes with like mild autism or like some form of you know, like socialization issues, let's say that. And you can be really good and you can be indispensable to a company, but like you can just be such, you know, a pain to work around, and it becomes a compounding thing, because then people be like, oh yeah, you can work from home, secretly like, yeah, please don't come in the office because you make it really unbearable for other people to work with you. And then it compounds, because then you work from home, you get rewarded somewhat for your antisocial behavior, and then it just compounds, and then you know, you wake up, you know, a good 10 years later, and you know, the only successful relationship you had is probably this random girl that like just like showed you interest at a bar, and then now you're in a toxic relationship for 3 years, and you know, it
sounds like a COVID scenario. Like
this was before COVID.
Yo,
like I'm talking about like real life, but like abstractive stuff that I've seen in out there in the world. And like
I think the healthy, expressing your value in a healthy way is so important, because one thing I've learned since leaving high school, or more so over the last 4 years, is that when you become too reliable, people only want to know you when they want things. And when you are not needed, then you are just alone. And that can really,
that's a lot of people's friendships, actually.
yeah, and that really leaves people in a very crap situation, because the only time they are being thought of or are deemed worthy of inviting is if someone else can benefit from you. And unfortunately, friendships are not always supposed to be transactionary. I should be able to sit in comfortable silence with you and not feel awkward. But because people people become so greedy, even though they'll claim to be your friend, not saying that you are that person, but if you are, wear the shoe, walk the shoe, may that shoe choke your foot, and may your foot swell up and come right. Yes. But if you are that type of person that only wants to know your friends when you need something, then you are a terrible person. I'm sorry, you're a terrible person, because that just shows you that you don't feel like you being valued, so you need to go suck it out of someone else. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
That's a real thing that happens.
And you know, it breaks so many people down, because like, what happens if it's a long distance friendship? Right? You can't see your friend every day. So you are going to base your friendship based on how much you can give that person, which is why you will find that, especially in high school and in like university, like, you know, when you're still in like this bubble,
Yeah.
the more freedom your parents allow you, the more friends you'll have, because you can get away with shit. Right? But the moment there's structure in your life, the moment there's boundaries, then your friends disappear, because there's nothing to benefit off from. Your house isn't the place that we can just go chill at. You know, we can just go do what we want to do at. You're just a scapegoat. You're just a scapegoat. My litmus test for like friendships and stuff: can you sit with my parents and have a conversation and I'm not there? Because if you can, you're not having any agendas. Because like, we have this concept called you need to be a Hayskin. You know, homebody. My house is your house is my house. So even if I'm not there, you should be chilling, you know, talking to my parents. You know, if my parents maybe need something, they phone you, you help them. Or vice versa, if your mom needs something, I'll pick up the phone, make a few phone calls, see where I can, you know, organize something, you know, like that. But no, people just become so greedy. So if you can't give to your friends, then like your value just like, which is why I don't give.
Which is why I don't give.
Monetarily.
Oh, okay.
I will on a very select few people. Very, very select few people. Because I am not going to make the mistake of you only wanting to be my friend because I buy you stuff. What happens if I can't buy you stuff anymore? Then what am I to you? Nothing. No.
There is a weird culture of like gifting in friendship sometimes. Like the one that really scares me sometimes is, and it's a story as old as time, when you hear about like in very predatory situations where it could be like this guy has just left school but he has a girlfriend that is like 13, 14, and they're like, oh, what do you like about him? Oh, he buys me cool drink and chocolates and stuff. And it's like, it's such a like insidious relationship. Like this is the basis of the relationship. Because I mean, shame, my cousin's wife, when she was in hospital, there was
I remember the story.
there was a girl who was like low-key abandoned. She was like 12 and she was pregnant, and like that was the boyfriend's whole story. Like you like just pick her up and like come bring chocolates and cool drink, and like now you're pregnant. And it's a serious chat. And the reason why I like highlighting those kind of stories, well, not like highlighting those stories,
But it's a need to
the
highlight
reason
them.
why those stories are the most powerful, because that's like the most extreme dynamic between people, and it kind of highlights some of the abuse that some people use within relationships.
You mentioned abuse now. People think that abuse is like only like I'm gonna hit you, or I'm gonna swear at you, or I'm going to financially abuse you. Oh, you'll find abuse in very, very subtle ways. Very, very subtle ways. And I realized one of the most common ones now, and I actually only learned this after being out of the said situation, is when people try to make you forget or say that they said something but they didn't, and they're basically gaslighting you to the point where you doubt yourself. That's next level. That's next level. Because that person has more power to manipulate you further. Buy you chocolates, buy you chips or whatever, and then you're opening up your legs. And I mean, like, no, I mean, like, in the case of these kids, not me. Gee was never. Never. Ew.
He's your chips, dude.
Yeah, man, not gonna know what my bank card looks like. You think I'm just gonna open my legs with a packet of chips and a chocolate? You must be joking. Yo, no, but like it's serious, and you see this a lot in communities that
But it is
impoverished, in impoverished communities, because absent fathers or absent mothers. So what happens is that if you have your mommy or daddy issues, it's not something to joke about. People who have mommy and daddy issues, they are a lot of work, especially in relationships. They are a lot of work, right? Because now they're trying to like seek that out in you. And this is why most young girls, like in that particular situation, why they'll think the world of a guy that's 10 years older. You're looking for a dad complex. And then they end up, and there are sick people out there that manipulate that. They manipulate that vulnerable. I mean, it's a minor. It's a minor. Like, come I throw you with my slipper. It's not enough, but I mean, like, so, it just shows like.
What are we working with?
I don't even know.
Guys, listen. Okay, I'm sorry. I was gonna go deep with that. Like, continue where you were going.
But like, yeah, like the whole concept of like your family, right? And I had this chat with my parents a couple of days ago, and I said, real wealth is having both your parents present in your life. You're gonna argue with them. They're gonna irritate you. You're gonna irritate them. You're gonna butt heads. But the fact that you have a mom and dad that supports you, that loves you, you can sit at the table with them and have supper. You want to go home to them. You know how many 20-something-year-olds run away from home because they don't have that. So if you do have that, you are actually rich. You are really, really rich. And what happens is that those who don't have that, they seek it out in other people. And oftentimes the people that they are seeking it out in take advantage of that vulnerability. And that's how that cycle of toxicity continues. Because your romantic partner is not supposed to be your mom or your dad. They're not. They're not. It reminds me of this one quote that said, the only person that will ever truly love you is the person that you get married to. Because your mother and your father, they love you by default. The person that you marry chooses to marry you, accepts that you are going to come with baggage or with your trauma or whatever, and they're still going to choose to love you, to make effort for you. There's a responsibility from the parent side. I need to look after my child. I need to make sure that you are fed, that you have emotional support, those things. It's out of duty that they do it, and out of duty they love you. But even with friends, that's why I don't believe blood is thicker than water. There are a lot of snakes in families. A lot of snakes in families. You can meet people that, yeah, we're having a venom shortage also. No, for real. We're having a venom shortage.
I know. I do actually know. I was just like,
So like,
I was treating it as the poetic thing that it
sorry.
was. Yeah.
So like, yeah. So what happens is that you'll sometimes meet friends that just feel like family. And it's because they are choosing to love and accept you for you. They understand that you're nuts in your head at times. Or,
We're all nuts.
Yeah, or that you're unhinged at times, most of the time. But
we're all unhinged.
Yeah. Love yourself. Be proud of yourself. I actually cried in the middle last night.
Really?
Yeah. I was actually listening to The Greatest Showman, the song, and then I felt some type of way. And then I looked in the mirror and like my cry was sitting in my throat. I'm like, why would I cry? And that's when I realized I was actually listening to the lyrics of the song properly. And then I told myself, you actually should be proud of yourself.
100%.
Don't seek the validation out from other people. Be proud of yourself. And that Snoop Dogg speech, I want to thank me. I want to thank myself. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. It prevents you from seeking the validation out from the wrong people.
100%. 100%.
What's your favorite meme line?
100%.
100%.
Yeah, 100% is my favorite meme line right now. And everyone does it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, my reticular activation system is just noticing it in everyone else.
What's my meme line? My favorite meme line is actually so unrelated to everyday things. Like, at random, I'll just be like, oh no, the table, it's broken.
Legend.
Like, what? I don't know. But it's broken and moist.
Moist? Why is moist?
I don't know, this is
What's the context?
I've been doing food reviews lately. Or like more dessert cookie reviews, like chocolate cookies. And like they're supposed to be like oozing chocolate in the inside, and it's like not oozing, and I'm like,
oh no, the cookie is broken.
it's dry. Yeah, so moist. But yeah, the table is broken. That's my meme. That's my meme. Oh, what did my dad say the other day? I think I sent it to you. Oh, you are drinking from the fountain of unreasonability.
That's also a good one. That's also
the other bar that I said yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that or the kitchen? No one's gonna build my dream kitchen that I'm gonna cook my own ideas in besides me.
That one's a good one.
That's my end of bar. This conversation went so all over the place.
It really did.
But I remember there was one particular question, like a political question in there, and I was like, I didn't get it anyway. I can't even prepare it on phone.
Thank you so much for joining me, Noor and Nisa. I feel like we can have a podcast that lasts like 3 hours. And when I get the Joe Rogan money and the massive contract, I will bring Noor and Nisa on for a 6-hour podcast.
Yo.
From one waqt to the other. We will have from budget to Noor.
I'll bring food. I'll bring butter chicken.
It'll be a live stream, actually.
I'll bring...
I feel like we'll be dope live streamers, to be honest. What do you think, chat? What do you think? I feel like we would be amazing live streamers.
Yeah, so it's a good first one. It went so
Yeah.
all over the place. Like it wasn't like super structured. Just like
It wasn't meant to be structured. This is Joe Rogan. My top. Okay, just for a brief one, my Spotify Wrapped, right? My top list, like the top other podcasts that other people listen to, and my pod is Joe Rogan. So yeah.
Mom's calling.
Choo!